and welcome to COABE's Meet the Author, where we sit down with the authors from our latest edition of the COABE Journal. My name is Kristen Hempel, and I'm the Region 1 representative, and I'm very excited to be here today with two authors from our latest journal, which is on digital literacy. We have Dr. Jamie Kreil, and we have Dr. Jen Vanek. So we're so excited to hear today a little bit about the article that you wrote, Field Testing Learning Upgrade, Use Scenarios for this unique mobile app. But before we begin, I'd like you both to introduce yourselves. Can we start with you, Jamie?
Yeah, my name is Jamie Kreil. I am adjunct faculty at Hamline University in the ABE licensure and ESL certificate program. And I'm also a pre-beginning ESL teacher at Cedar Riverside Adult Education Collaborative in South Minneapolis. The bulk of my work has been around professional issues in ABE as practitioners. In fact, my dissertation covered the former licensure program at the University of Minnesota, and I've been privileged to be a part of implementing the new one at Hamline University. And it's been a privilege to work on this project with Jen.
Thank you. So lovely to have you with us.
Hello, I'm Jen Vanek. I'm Director of Digital Learning and Research at the EdTech Center at World Ed. In my work there, I support educators, adult educators through my research, provision of technical assistance, and design and implementation of professional development in the areas of digital literacy, digital equity, distance learning, blended learning, and for the past 18 months, how to help programs with remote instruction and strategies, policy, assessment, all of that. Thanks for having us for this interview. It's going to be fun to talk about our paper.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we get into the paper itself, I'd love to have a little peek behind the curtain and hear you talk about what motivated you to write this article for the journal.
Sure, I can answer that question. We had partnered with Learning Upgrade previously in the Adult Literacy X Prize Communities competition. The team of practitioners on the World Ed team actually won. We had the most downloads of both Learning Upgrade and all the other apps that were part of that competition. So, through that work, we got to know Learning Upgrade on these other apps really well. And we knew that people were using them, but we didn't really understand how they were using them. And that was a big black box for us. So when Vinod Lobo reached out and asked us about doing some field testing, we jumped at the opportunity to be able to do that because it's a unique app and we wanted to know how it was being used. A big part of my work at the EdTech Center at World Ed is field testing educational technologies that hold promise for adult ed. We're lucky to have this really large network of programs and teachers who we support through our TA and our professional development initiatives like Ideal Consortium, English Now, CrowdEd Learning, and Digital S. And these are educators who are really innovative and really excited about trying new things. So by connecting with them and exploring how they use tools like Learning Upgrade, we're able to craft use scenarios to help that identify and then illustrate what learners these ed tech tools work well for and how they are best utilized. So the scenarios are useful as examples that other programs might follow. Our goal is to always help programs make good decisions about technology adoption, and I think the scenarios help. So field testing Learning Upgrade and then writing about it just seemed like a natural next step after the X Prize work. There are so many programs using it, and we just wanted to understand how and why.
That's very helpful for all of us to have your eyes on this. I know we've all been, trying to figure it out as we go, and having an expert really dig in is very useful. So thank you. But that said, I'm curious how you see adult ed practitioners benefiting from the article, and how you think that will then go ahead and benefit the learners themselves.
Yeah, so the practitioners we interviewed discussed how Learning Upgrade met certain needs in their program. For example, reaching underserved learners, such as those not attending synchronous classes regularly, or addressing gaps in existing online curricula to meet the needs of learners at all levels. Practitioners may be able to identify with some of those needs in their own program and then understand how they might use Learning Upgrade to meet their needs. Practitioners may also benefit from the learners' perspectives that are in our use scenarios about how Learning Upgrade engaged them in a fun and unique way. The learners we interviewed discussed how music and games in particular motivated them to keep learning. For example, 2 learners were motivated through friendly competition to complete levels. Other learners expressed how music helped them retain information, while others simply found it an enjoyable way to learn in the evenings. So practitioners may be able to see how Learning Upgrade engages learners and supports learning in a way that differentiates from other ESOL and ABE online curricula.
So I'm fascinated. I love that you're also looking at really the learner's perspective and including components, even, like music. And I don't know that always gets the same sort of attention. And so it's lovely to hear that feedback from the people that we're actually really trying to reach. So wonderful. What do you hope that readers will take away from the article?
So the article offers vignettes describing different instructional settings where Learning Upgrade met the needs of the programs, the teachers, and students. And we looked at ABE programs across the whole spectrum. So reading these examples will help programs and teachers understand how and with whom they might use Learning Upgrade.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that we hope the article is one data point in decisions made about technology adoption. There are a lot of tools out there, and it's really hard to navigate that through that forest of tools. And given the current COVID situation, it seems really likely that distance education and remote instruction are going to continue to be really important, now, near future, hopefully not forever. But the fact is, remote and distance education provide a lot of flexibility to learners who couldn't come into the classroom before. And so even, after the pandemic resolves, we see really great value in making good choices about these tools, these quality tools that are provided by the developers and publishers. So we hope that the more informed these programs are about the different technologies available, the better their choice, the better their adoption choice, and the more likely that the tool they take on is going to be a good fit for their learners. So we hope the scenarios included help and give some information about using Learning Upgrade.
Thank you. Thank you. I know in your article you talked about this mobile imperative, this moment that we're at. And I couldn't have said it better. And sometimes it feels like we're at the end of a fire hose trying to figure out how to sort through all of these. So having quality resources that have been vetted and we can really hear about how they're being implemented to maximize the potential is just a wonderful gift to the field. So thank you all for, your research, your field testing, and for giving it back to us in a way that we can then take hold of it and really implement it in our program. So do you have any other comments before we wrap up for today?
Just want to say thank you to COABE and to you, Kristen, and to Learning Upgrade for giving us a chance to understand how this really unique mobile technology can help adult learners. And it was wonderful writing and working with Jamie. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jen, for asking me to consult on this. This was one of the biggest research undertakings I've had since completing my doctorate, and also lending a practitioner perspective, I think I'm always willing to do. So thank you, COABE, and thank you, Jen.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to be with us today. We truly appreciate your dedication to the field of adult learning, and we are grateful for the impact that your work is going to have and in the lives of our learners across the country, across the world. So if you audience have not yet already read the journal article, I really encourage you to go ahead and access that. You can get it individually, or you can download the entire journal by going to our COABE website. So click on the journal tab and buy an individual article or the whole thing. You will not regret it. Thank you very much, and we'll talk soon.